Begins with the 15-year-old Filipino teen stepping onto the AGT stage with the kind of nervousness that instantly pulls the entire room into his world. His hands are shaking slightly, his eyes scanning the judges' table as if trying to convince himself that he truly belongs there. The bright lights feel almost too heavy on his slim frame, and his voice cracks when he introduces himself. He explains that he comes from a small community where every day is a fight to survive. He grew up singing on the streets and in small markets, not because it was a hobby, but because it was the only way he could help his mother earn enough for food. His father left years ago, and since then he's carried the weight of being the man of the house, even though he's barely old enough to be called a man. There's a quiet sadness in his eyes, but also a humble strength that makes the audience lean in closer. One of the judges gently asks him why he chose this particular song, and he answers in a soft voice that the song reminds him of the moments when he felt completely alone. Singing became the way he calmed his hunger, his fear, and his confusion about life. It became the only thing that ever made him feel like he mattered. When the music begins, there's a brief moment where he closes his eyes as if calling upon every memory and every heartbreak he has ever carried. Then he starts to sing, and instantly the entire room freezes. His voice is warm but drenched in emotion, rising slowly like someone learning to breathe for the first time. Every note seems to come from a place of truth. The rawness in his tone makes people in the audience put their hands over their mouths. Even the judges, normally so composed, exchange looks that say they can't believe what they're hearing. As the song builds, his voice grows steadier, stronger, fuller, but it never loses that trembling pain that makes it unforgettable. It's not just singing, it's storytelling, it's healing, it's a young boy breaking open his heart for the world to see. By the final note, he delivers a powerful, soaring run that sends chills across the room. When the music stops, there is a heavy silence, followed by an eruption of cheers and applause that almost startles him. Tears stream down the faces of audience members, and at least two judges are visibly wiping their eyes. One judge tells him that his voice didn't just touch them, it shook them. They say he isn't just talented, he's important. The teen covers his face with his hands, overwhelmed as he gets 4 yeses that change his entire life in seconds. Begins with the show diving deeper into his backstory, taking viewers beyond the AGT stage and into the reality he comes from. The camera follows him through the narrow streets of his Filipino neighborhood, where children run barefoot and vendors shout prices of vegetables and dried fish. His home is a small, fragile structure with a tin roof and patched walls that hardly keep out the rain. Inside, the room is cramped, but there are traces of warmth, a tiny altar, old family photos, and the guitar he learned on, missing 2 strings but still played with love. He explains that he used to practice singing quietly at night so he wouldn't wake his siblings. When school got too expensive, he stopped going, choosing instead to sing in public places to help their mother keep the family afloat. His mother speaks through tears, saying she always knew he had a special gift but never imagined the world would one day hear it. She remembers the mornings he would leave home hungry, walking miles to find places with better foot traffic so he could earn a little more from singing. The show also interviews neighbors who recall hearing him sing as a young child, calling him the boy with the sad voice. They say they always felt he was destined for something bigger, even if they never knew how he would ever reach that world. The judges watch his story in the studio, reacting emotionally to the reality behind the voice that moved them so deeply. They comment on how rare it is to see someone so young carry so much life experience, and how every bit of that experience pours straight through his vocals. Social media clips show people around the world reacting to his audition, calling him a miracle, a blessing, a reminder that greatness can come from anywhere. As the episode closes, the young teen stands on a rooftop at sunset, looking toward the horizon. For the first time, he believes the future might hold something brighter than anything he ever dared dream. Begins with the Filipino teen returning to the AGT stage for the judge cuts round, but this time he walks with a slightly different energy. He is still shy, still humble, but there is a new spark in his eyes, a quiet belief that maybe, just maybe, he belongs on this stage among performers who have trained for years. Backstage, he clutches the microphone tightly, whispering to himself in Filipino, reminding himself to breathe, to stay calm, to sing from his heart. The judges watch him walk out, recognizing the same fragile boy from his audition, but also sensing a deeper confidence rising within him. The host asks him what he plans to sing, and he reveals he has chosen a classic emotional ballad, a song many contestants avoid because it demands flawless control and powerful storytelling. He admits he chose it because the lyrics remind him of the nights when he used to sing alone in the dark, wishing life were kinder to him and his family. One judge tells him to trust his gift and let the world feel what he feels. As the music begins, the room falls into an almost sacred silence. The first note he releases is soft, trembling, like a candle flickering in a storm. But it quickly grows steady, rich, and haunting. His voice fills the theater with a depth far beyond his age. It is not technical perfection that moves the judges, it is the sincerity, the honesty, the way he seems to live inside each word. The cameras zoom in on the audience, and tears are already forming in their eyes. Halfway through the performance, his voice swells with emotional force, cracking slightly under the weight of everything he has carried. Instead of weakening the performance, the crack makes it real, raw, unforgettable. One of the judges stands up without even realizing it, overwhelmed by how someone so young can deliver a song with such soul. Another judge presses a hand to their chest, visibly shaken. As he reaches the final high note, he lifts his chin, closes his eyes, and lets out a breathtaking, crystal-clear finish that echoes through the entire hall. The moment the music stops, the room explodes, cheers, claps, shouts, everyone on their feet. The teen looks shocked, covering his mouth with both hands as if he can't believe what he just did. The judges praise him for having one of the most emotionally gripping voices they've heard in years. They tell him he didn't just sing the song, he transformed it. He advances to the next round with overwhelming support. Backstage, he breaks into tears, hugging the host tightly as he whispers that he never thought he would make it this far. The episode closes with him smiling through tears, knowing his life is changing faster than he ever imagined. Opens with the teen stepping into a rehearsal room filled with equipment he has never seen before: microphones, lighting setups, vocal coaches, movement directors. This is the mentorship stage of AGT, where contestants are guided to unlock their full potential. He is nervous, feeling out of place among the polished, confident performers practicing around him. But the moment his mentor walks in, everything shifts. The mentor greets him warmly, telling him that his voice has something money can't buy: truth. They begin vocal training, focusing on breath control and strengthening the parts of his voice that tend to waver when he gets emotional. He struggles at first, feeling embarrassed every time he makes a mistake. The mentor senses his fear and reassures him gently, explaining that greatness is built through moments like these: messy, awkward, uncertain moments that force you to grow. During their session, the mentor tells him to picture the people he sings for: his mother, his siblings, his neighborhood back home. That reminder anchors him. He closes his eyes and begins singing, not as a contestant, but as a boy who has something real to say. His improvement becomes instantly noticeable, his tone steadier, his breathing stronger, his presence more powerful. The mentor smiles, telling him he is becoming an artist, not just a singer. Stage rehearsals come next. He practices walking across the stage without shrinking in fear, learning how to connect with the audience, how to stand tall even when nerves eat at him. At one point he breaks down, overwhelmed by pressure and the fear of disappointing everyone. His mentor sits beside him, reminding him that his emotional vulnerability is not a weakness, it is his superpower. By the end of the episode, the teen performs a rehearsal run that surprises everyone in the room. His voice rings out with newfound strength, but the emotion is still there, raw and pure. The crew members clap, the mentor beams with pride, and he feels something he has never felt before: confidence. Closes with him staring at the empty AGT stage from backstage, feeling nervous but ready. For the first time in his life, he believes he might actually have what it takes to go all the way. Begins with the Filipino teen nervously pacing backstage as the AGT semifinals begin. The stakes have never been higher. The theater is packed, the cameras are everywhere, and millions of viewers are watching from home. Even though he has come so far, old fears return: fears of failing, of letting his family down, of proving everyone right who once told him he would never escape poverty. He holds the microphone to his chest, whispering a prayer for strength. His mentor stops by to remind him that he has already touched hearts around the world, and tonight is his chance to show the world who he truly is. That reassurance gives him a spark of courage, but his hands still tremble as he waits for his turn. He has chosen a difficult song, one that many professional singers avoid because the final note is nearly impossible to hit cleanly. Choosing this song was risky, but deep inside, he felt it was the only way to express everything he has been carrying: his struggles, his hope, his pain, his growth. As he walks onto the stage, the crowd erupts in cheers. The lights dim, a soft spotlight finds him, and he takes a slow breath as the music begins. The opening verse is soft, gentle, almost whispered. His voice flows with a calm maturity that shocks even the judges. It is tender yet steady, filled with the emotion that has become his signature. As he sings, the audience can feel the journey he has been on, from street corners in the Philippines to one of the biggest stages in the world. As the song progresses, his voice grows stronger, fuller, as though he is pushing past every fear he has ever known. Halfway through, he reaches a powerful section of the song that demands both emotional control and vocal precision. He closes his eyes, lifts his head, and pours everything inside him into that moment. The judges lean forward, completely invested. The audience becomes silent, waiting for the big note. When it comes, he doesn't just hit it, he owns it. The high note cuts through the theater like a blade coated in pure emotion, sharp and breathtaking. People stand up instantly. The cameras capture audience members crying, holding their hearts, shaking their heads in disbelief. The final moments of the performance bring a soft, vulnerable ending. His voice cracks slightly, not from weakness but from overwhelming sincerity. When the music fades, the room erupts with thunderous applause and cheers that seem to shake the stage. The teen stands frozen for a moment, overwhelmed by shock and gratitude. One judge tells him that what he just delivered may go down as one of the greatest semifinal performances in AGT history. Another judge says that his voice